The Tennessee Titans are just one of 12 teams to never win a Super Bowl in franchise history. The last time the Titans had made a Super Bowl appearance was back in 1999 and they lost to the St. Louis Rams. But in today's video, we're going to be adding one NFL superstar to the Tennessee Titans until they win their first ever Super Bowl. Our first season went pretty much the same as the 2022 season, finishing with an 8-9 record and missing out on a playoff spot. Ryan Tannehill had a very mediocre season with 3,600 passing yards and 27 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, had over 2,000 rushing yards and 16 rushing touchdowns on the year, which was good enough to be the best running back in the NFL. The defense was average at best, finishing mid-table in defensive stats for the year. Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl, where Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP and NFL MVP. After every season, we will be spinning a wheel of NFL teams and take one NFL superstar from their team. The first wheel lands on the Dallas Cowboys, and they have plenty of stars on their team. Micah Parsons is the highest rated at a 99 overall at just 24 years old. Zach Martin can definitely help in the run game for Derrick Henry, or we can go with superstar X-Factor CeeDee Lamb, who is currently a 95 overall. Three great choices, but I decided to go help our defense and add a generational talent in Micah Parsons. Here's a look at our offense going into season number 2. As you can see, center Ben Jones retired, leaving a rookie to fill that position, and Ryan Tannehill went down to a 73 overall, but luckily for the Titans, Derrick Henry is still at a 96 overall superstar X-Factor. And then on defense, we have 99 overall Micah Parsons leading the linebackers and Kevin Byard holding down the secondary. The new look Titans defeated a really good 49er team in the season opener by a score of 27-24. And things did not stop there. Through 7 games, the Titans are third in the AFC South with a 5-2 record. Somehow in season number 2, the Titans were able to sneak into the playoffs with a 10-7 record to take on a Jacksonville team that is on fire right now. And unfortunately, the Titans ended up losing by a score of 38-14. Tannehill had another mediocre season, throwing for 4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns with 14 interceptions. Derrick Henry is still carrying the entire offense and the NFL with 1,700 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. And our newly acquired superstar Micah Parsons had 10.5 sacks and 2 interceptions. And once again, the Kansas City Chiefs win another Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes winning both Super Bowl MVP and NFL MVP. The Titans ended up drafting a center with the 22nd overall pick and a low-key steal in the 4th round in Braylon Allen, running back out of Idaho State. To make this a little bit more difficult, we'll be alternating between one defensive and one offensive superstar from the wheel spin. Spinning the wheel of NFL teams, and it's going to be the Buffalo Bills, and there's only 2 choices for this one. Either we go with Josh Allen at quarterback to replace Ryan Tannehill, or Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. But since Tannehill has had back-to-back rough seasons, it's time to bring in quarterback number 1, Josh Allen. The offense heading into season 3 is looking a lot better with Josh Allen as our new play caller. Derrick Henry still leads the way at running back, but will mentor our new draft pick in Braylon Allen. Treylon Burks takes a step forward, moving up to star potential as well. And the defense remains the same with Parsons, Byard, and Simmons leading the charge. Josh Allen looking a little shaky on his first few possessions in a Titans uniform, but is able to find Isaiah Coulter over the middle for his first touchdown of the season. The Titans get some early revenge, defeating the Jaguars in the opening game of the season 34-31. The Titans end up finishing at the top of the AFC South with a 13-4 record, taking on the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card matchup. Josh Allen had a respectable first season in Nashville, throwing for 4,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. Derrick Henry led the NFL in rushing yards once again with 1,816 touchdowns. Treylon Burks and Robert Woods both had over 1,000 receiving yards on the year, and Micah Parsons increased his sack total to 17.5. The Titans had the 3rd best defense in the NFL this season, but unfortunately that was not good enough to stop Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, even with Derrick Henry rushing for 160 yards. And to absolutely no one's surprise, Kansas City wins their 3rd Super Bowl in a row over the Vikings, and Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP. But this time, Tanner McKee of the Bills wins NFL MVP. Things went from bad to worse as 2 key players of the Titans announced their retirement in left tackle Taylor Lewan and wide receiver Robert Woods. But the Titans front office replaces Robert Woods with Justin Ellis with the 24th pick in this year's draft out of UCLA. After adding Micah Parsons and Josh Allen so far, the wheel spin lands on the New York Giants heading into year 4. We can take a defensive superstar here, but this one's going to be a tough choice. We can go with superstar defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence or linebacker Kayvon Thibodeau. But since we have Micah Parsons, let's add Dexter Lawrence to play alongside Jeffrey Simmons on the D-line. The offense is still looking quite solid with Josh Allen and Derrick Henry leading the way, and Treylon Burks up to a superstar potential as wide receiver number 1. The defense is looking even better than last season with Dexter Lawrence and Jeffrey Simmons on the D-line and Micah Parsons leading the linebackers. The Titans once again lead the AFC South with an 11-6 record and now take on the Colts in the wild card game. Josh Allen did not throw for a whole lot of yards this season, but was able to throw for 32 touchdowns. And why pass when you have King Henry? He ended up with 1,800 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. touchdowns, again leading the NFL. Backup running back Braylon Allen picked up 510 yards on just 127 attempts this season. Treylon Burks led the receivers with 1,500 yards and 13 touchdown catches. Micah Parsons, Jeffrey Simmons, and Dexter Lawrence combined for 36 sacks this season. After being down 10 in the second quarter, the Titans fought back with a touchdown from their tight end. Down 3 in the fourth quarter, Derrick Henry scores from 5 yards out, putting the Titans at 4, and that was good enough to defeat the Colts in the wild card game. Next up is the defending Super Bowl champions in the Kansas City Chiefs, and unfortunately Josh Allen and the Titans were not able to overcome them, losing 35-29. But to my surprise, the Patriots defeated the Saints in the Super Bowl, and Jared Goff of the Steelers wins the NFL MVP. After that heartbreaking loss in the divisional round, the Titans have added Micah Parsons, Josh Allen, and Dexter Lawrence to the team so far, and now head into season 5, and they can pick an offensive superstar from the Indianapolis Colts. They have superstar running back Jonathan Taylor, CeeDee Lamb, and Quentin Nelson. This may be a questionable decision on my part, but since we are a run-heavy team, I'm going with Quentin Nelson so he can help out Derrick Henry in the run game. And now heading into season 5, the offense is looking amazing. Josh Allen up to a 97, Treylon Burks up to an 84, but he's a superstar X factor. Unfortunately, Henry lost a few overalls, but the O-line is now improved with Nelson leading the charge. The defense remains untouched, but as you can see, Kevin Byard has gone down to an 87 overall and star potential. And after simming the entire season, the Titans finished with a 12-5 record and face off against Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the wild card game. Allen had an awful season, only throwing for 3,700 yards, but had 30 touchdown passes. But with the Quentin Nelson addition, Henry was able to turn back the clocks and finish first in the NFL with 1,755 yards and 14 touchdowns. Treylon Burks had another solid season with 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. The Titans defeated the Bengals 34-31, and then they went on to beat the Texans in the divisional round, and now take on the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Mahomes and the Chiefs easily defeated the Titans by a score of 42-27, and they went on to win their 4th Super Bowl in 5 seasons, with Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowl MVP and NFL MVP once again. And immediately after that heartbreaking season, our superstar running back Derrick Henry announces his retirement after 11 seasons in the NFL. Luckily for the Titans, the running back they drafted in the 4th round a few seasons ago has taken a massive jump. He is an 83 overall superstar X Factor, and after spinning that wheel of NFL teams, we can now select a defensive player from the Broncos. And this one is a no-brainer, as we are going with Patrick Surtain II, the 99 overall cornerback. Not a whole lot has changed on either side of the ball, other than the addition of Patrick Surtain II and Derrick Henry retiring. This might be an all-or-nothing season, as most of our players are getting older now. And after the season, the Titans finished 3rd in the AFC South and barely make it into the playoffs. They now have to play the Chiefs dynasty in the wild card game. Another rough season for Allen in a Titans uniform, but Braylon Allen was able to pick up 1,200 rushing yards in Derrick Henry's absence. And Micah Parsons had a league-leading 20 sacks on the season. Although the offense had a rough season, finishing 28th in the entire NFL, the defense carried, finishing 2nd. The Titans were barely able to sneak out a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs in the wild card game, but then they went on to defeat the Patriots in the divisional round and the Steelers in the AFC Championship matchup, and now face off against the Rams in the Super Bowl. The Titans are back in the Super Bowl for the first time since 1999, and they are taking on Desmond Ridder and the LA Rams. The Rams were able to strike first thanks to a Desmond Ridder touchdown pass to Greg Dulcich. And immediately after, Jalen Ramsey recovers a fumble and LA scores once again, going up 14 in the second quarter. A few plays later, Josh Allen is able to hit Treylon Burks for a 16-yard touchdown, cutting the lead down to 7. The score heading into halftime is 21-24 for the Rams, but the Titans get the ball to start the second half, where Josh Allen gets sacked on 3rd and goal in the red zone, and Randy Bullock misses the field goal. After the defense gets a huge stop, Allen finds Burks for another touchdown, tying the game. With just under 4 minutes left, the Rams score once again, taking the lead. On the 1-yard line, Allen hands it off to his running back, who is able to tie the game with just 1 minute left. The game ends up going to overtime, where the Rams work their way down the field but get stopped on a 3rd down. The Titans need a score here to win the Super Bowl, and they are able to work down the field and now are in field goal range. But instead of settling for a field goal, they continue down the field and score a touchdown to win their first ever Super Bowl in franchise history. It took 5 NFL superstars for the Titans to finally lift the Lombardi Trophy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click on this one. I'm sure you'll love it.